So we have 4 different tripods. We have our tripod for the Identilinks camera.
Okay.
Tripod for the small micro gate clock. This tripod is for the big Finish Links camera. This tripod is for the Finish Links camera. Depending on which camera box you have, you need to make sure you have the right tripod.
Gotcha.
For our setup, we have 2 different connection boxes. You have the smaller one and the big one. The small connection box does not have a battery backup and does not have all your cables in it. There should be another box that has the rest of your cables in it. The big connection box has everything you need in it, as well as a battery backup and an extra extension cord. Both camera boxes are exactly the same. The only difference is the tripod mount. The tripod mount matches the tripod. You have to check your tripod mount. Here is the micro gate small clock. It mounts on a tripod as well, and its cords are in the bag. So, first thing we do at a track meet when we get there, table.
Yep.
Our little table, we pop it out. This table is real easy to use by yourself. This is one I wouldn't have anybody sitting with me at. Okay. And it folds down just like the other one. This little one-seater. That's the first thing we get out is our table. After we find where the finish line is, what I normally do is I actually start grabbing my laptop out to make sure I got the right laptop. Just to sit it where it wanted, so we can make sure, hey, if somebody's helping me set up, I just want them to see, hey, this is where that computer's going. We might not plug it up, probably not gonna do anything with power yet. We just want to say, hey, this is where the laptop's going. All right. From there, we then are going to grab power. Now theoretically, I ran this cord from somewhere. So we're gonna run power. Now we got power at the finish line. Sometimes it's right by the track, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's 100 feet away, 100 yards, 100 meters. That's why we have, generally we take 2 to 3 power lines, rolls with us. After we grab our roll, power, normally our camera person, who's the person, I call him our camera person, that's the person that's setting up the camera. It might be you since it's only you. Goes, finds the finish line. We generally count 10 feet away from the line, if you can. Sometimes you can't. If you can't, that means you're gonna have to zoom out on your camera a lot. But we tend to count 10 feet off the finish line just using our toes. So like I said, we count 10 feet using our toes. We just like go toe to toe. And once we find our spot, we go ahead and start letting our camera down. Now the good thing about these legs is they're adjustable. So they're adjustable up and down and side to side. So if the track is uneven or the ground's uneven, you can get them even. And they have these knobs right here that you use to tighten. You have to make sure you tighten them so that they stay tight at all times. Once we do those 2, the next thing that we make sure we take care of is actually getting our camera out. And we set it on our table. So with our camera, there is a couple of different cords. With the camera, you have our lens cord and what we call our remote position sensor cords. They plug into the side of our remote positioner and in the back of the camera. So with that, there is the rotation knob. This little knob is used to lock in this remote position sensor onto the camera. From there, we take our remote positioner cable, plug it into the side, it screws in.
Any one of those?
And it plugs into the back at remote control.
Why this one? Oh, that lens.
It actually can plug into either plug.
Okay.
Next, we take our lens cord, plug into the lens, into the other plug. For this camera, we have a little screwdriver because this one doesn't have self twisters. You have to use a little screwdriver. You just tighten them down to make sure it doesn't come out. Once you get those all tightened up, you'll be able to see the back of the camera. You can flip it around and get a look of what else you have. You have your Ethernet cord, your connection box, and then your power. All of these will come out of your connection box. Once you mounted your camera on this tripod, you want to make sure that it's locked all the way. You have your safety lever. No matter how far you push this over, it won't unlock until you push the button. So this is a button that keeps the camera from falling on and off. We tend to put our connection box right up under our camera. We'll plug in our power cord into there, and we're gonna run a second power cord over to the computer from here. In this connection box, once you've gotten power in there, you need to power up your battery backup. That will power up your network switch and your power over ether connector for your Identity camera. You can go ahead and pull out your cords for your camera. Like I said, we have 3: your Ethernet, your connection box cord, and a power cord. And then in here is also 2 Ethernet cables for you to plug up to computers.
This one is perfect. I gotta get one of this because
once you get them fit through the hole, we're gonna run them up here. Power, Ethernet, connection box. And if the person that set this up last did it right, they turned the camera off when they put all these cords up there. Once we get all those set up, we can go ahead and get power over to the computer. So what we've done next is grab an Ethernet cable. I've used the blue one, ran it through the port, and we're gonna run this over to the Ethernet on the computer. At this point, the computer is ready to power on. So at this point, we have ran power to the camera. We have ran power to the computer. Most likely you'll have a surge protector over here so you can have more than one computer plugged up. Right now we only got one computer. For our team, computer should already be set up. You'll be able to open finish links. Click yes. It's gonna pop up with another screen. You're gonna click enter. In the bottom corner, you should see that the camera is now loading. You are loading your first camera into your computer. This camera popped up as camera 1, which is good. Once we get this camera loaded, we will now close finish links again. We will now get our second camera loaded. The biggest thing about your Identity camera is to take care of your plastic case. Your camera has a chance of falling off the mount and also falling with high wind. So the plastic case protects the camera. Plastic case you see on this one is cracked because it has been damaged, which is better than the camera being damaged. You have your mount. It simply screws into the camera. On the back of this camera, there is a Ethernet plug that we're going to use our long purple cable to run to it. Once you've run your purple cord through, it goes into the out. If your cords are not plugged in goes to the router, out goes to the camera, to the router, to the camera. Once you've gotten your second camera plugged up, you're now able to open Finish Links again. You're gonna get prompted, you click enter, and again in the bottom right hand corner, your camera is loaded. Both cameras are now showing up in hardware control. Both your cameras are now loaded. So at this point, you can highlight your camera and you can hit the red stop sign.
Yep.
It turns the camera on and lets you see what you see. The identilinks will show up a picture.
Oh, just the pictures.
It's a video. And camera 1, which is your Finish Links camera, will need to be adjusted based on when's the last time it was used. You will need to put your antenna on your start sensor and make sure to turn it on. You push and hold the power button. You will see numbers pop up on the screen and a bunch of letters. It is now on. You will need to get your antenna either out of your connection box your antenna will then screw on to the top of your sensor. When you are doing your start sensor, it is best to remember you need to put on the receiving sensor's antenna as well, which will either be here and screwed on, or it is here and screwed on. After you've plugged in, turned on, and attached all the antennas, you can now do a test by hitting the pole with it. On our computers, you'll hear a little gun noise and you will see the clock is running. Now you're ready to open HiTech. If you have more than one computer, you will need to be in admin and in multi-user. You're going to open your run menu. From there, you can go back to Finish Links. You can now load your schedule.